So before we jump into today's video, I just want to make a couple of disclaimers. The first one is I am not a doctor. I'm not a professional. Please, if you are struggling, please talk to a professional. There are numbers that you can call if you are struggling. I will leave them here as well. But I am not a professional. I'm just sharing with you my personal experience. And second of all, I'm going to do a giant trigger warning. I'm not sure if I even need to do this, but I'm doing it. Just as a warning. Yeah, so let's jump into this video. What is up, you guys? Welcome back. Welcome if you are new. My name is Haley, and I have seasonal depression. That is what I'm sharing with you guys about in today's video. I have like this chokehold on my chest right now because I'm a little nervous to share, because mental health, man, mental health. But yeah, I have just decided to share this video because I am beating it. I am beating seasonal depression for the first time in like 5 years. And that's amazing. And so I just want to share my journey. I want to share my symptoms, because I've never truly opened up about it. I've mentioned several times on this channel over the past few years, like in the winters, and how I have like winter blues, or I'm, unmotivated, or just feeling really tired. And I've never really actually shared what it was like for me, my symptoms, and what it was truly like without like a filter. And so I think now is time. I think it's time to raise awareness and to most importantly, help even one other person succeed, and to know that there's hope, because holy cow, what a journey. So over the past, I want to say like 4 or 5 years, as long as I can remember back since becoming a mom, I have struggled in the winters with feeling tired, run down, unmotivated, and my symptoms, yes, would happen in the winter, but I would attribute that to being, I'm a single mom. I'm a single mom. I work from home. I do the YouTube content creating thing for a living. So yeah, as a single mom with no help, of course you're going to be tired. As any mom, you're going to be tired, or parent in general, whether you're working from home, whether you're working outside of the home, what have you. It's exhausting. So I always attributed my exhaustedness to motherhood. For those who do not know, I live in Maine, and we have shorter days in the winter, very far and few between sunny days here, where the light, is very minimal. And then also it's cold. It's cold in the winters, it's cold in the first 6 months out of the year, and so lots of us are inside a lot. So there's my little background. I am 34 years old. I had never known or struggled with seasonal depression before, until I was about 30-ish, but that's when I had my child. So I knew I had kind of winter blues over the past, I want to say 3 years, notably for myself, to realize that the winter was really bothering me. The dark days, I really thrive in the sun, and on sunny days I thrive. My mood is so much better. So I've known that for about 3 years now, and kind of seen that pattern, but I had no idea what seasonal depression could entail. I always called it winter blues, and kind of in my mind downplayed it, and just because I know a lot of people might have very mild symptoms, and then other people will have more extreme ones like I did last year. So anyway, that's a little bit of a background. Let's fast forward to last year and dive into my symptoms. Exhaustion. And I don't mean you have a newborn and you're exhausted, walking zombie exhausted. It's a different type of exhaustion. Depression exhaustion, for me, this is me and my experience, it's like a fatigue that is unexplainable. It's not for a reason. You're not tired because you just ran a marathon tired, or you've, just done a 12-hour surgery mentally tired. It's an exhaustion that you can't explain. It feels like you're walking around with a heavy gray cloud over your head. You're wearing a heavy cloak, and not like a therapeutic weighted blanket. No, like a heavy elephant suit that you're just carrying around with you all day long. That's what it felt like for me. I felt like I was, to lift my legs to climb up the stairs was just like moving mountains. So the fatigue was number one. I was so tired and I couldn't sleep at night. My mind would not shut off. I couldn't sleep at night and my mind would race, and so I was even more tired. And then also my house. So my chores. I could not keep up. I couldn't keep up with any of my chores, any of my housework. Emptying the dishwasher, or even loading it for that matter, was like you asked me to just climb Mount Everest barefoot. It was like the task alone was so daunting that I couldn't even do it. And so my kitchen, I don't even know how I like hid it. I mean, I hid it. I don't even know how I hid it, honestly, because it was just a daily thing. My kitchen was piled high with dishes nonstop. Like it was never ending, because I just could not get myself to load the dishwasher. And then when I would load the dishwasher and run it, I felt like, yes, so accomplished. But then the dishwasher would end and it would be clean and ready to be unloaded and like put away. And that would take me 2 days to do. Or I would do like 3 forks and then I would be done. And then I'd come back to it and I'd put away a plate. That's not me. Like, that's not me. That's not who I am or who I want to be. I love a clean kitchen. I love a clean home. I hate dishes in the sink or waking up to dishes in the sink. But I couldn't clean. I don't know, unless you've like experienced it, I feel like it's really not something you might understand. Because I remember before, when I didn't have seasonal depression, I didn't struggle, I had never experienced it before, I would not understand at all and be like, well, if it makes you feel better, just do it, get it over with, and then you'll feel better. I don't know. It's such a hard thing to explain unless you've been there. But I am just sharing, I'm doing my best to explain to you what it was like. And then say I dropped something on the floor, I wouldn't pick it up. I would walk right over it. The act of bending down to pick something up, to go put it in the trash, I couldn't do it. It's so weird because I'm on the other side of it. I am me right now. I'm not struggling with seasonal depression right now. And so like looking back on those symptoms, looking back on how it truly was for me is crazy. It's so crazy because I'm not a lazy person at all. Like, I'm not a lazy person. I'm a go-getter. I'm motivated. I have energy. I like a clean home. Like, it's just so crazy and wild. And so I would my house would be in complete disarray at all times. I remember one time, one of my neighbors, a little bit older, she knocked on my door and she needed help opening like a jar or a juice bottle or something. And it was in the thick of me having my seasonal depression symptoms, in the thick of it. And she stepped in my doorway over there while I was helping her. I opened the jar for her. I was mortified because it was an unexpected visitor, which is fine. Like, on a typical day, on a normal day, like, I don't mind that. I'm friendly with my neighbors. It's not like a complete, like, I'm fine with that. But the fact that she stepped inside my door and I knew what my kitchen looked like and I knew what my living room looked like. I had toys everywhere that I couldn't pick up. My kitchen, it was just piled with dishes, dirty dishes, not clean, like sink piled with dirty dishes, the counter, dirty dishes. And this wasn't just a once in a while thing. This was an all winter, months long thing because I couldn't keep up. I was horrified that I had a person in my home to see that. And so anytime I would have someone over, say a friend or a family member, which was very far and few between anyway, because I'm such an introvert, and then pandemic, obviously. But I would race and spend like the whole prior day trying to pick up and pretend that that wasn't going on. So yeah, and then I would also see, you know, those either memes or like viral things that would go around that would maybe show a picture of a kitchen with dishes piled high, and it would say like, this is what depression looks like. I would see that, I would look at my own home, and I'd be like, yeah, that's my house, but I'm not depressed. I used to use the word depressed and sad synonymously. I didn't have sadness at all. I was tired, unmotivated, irritable, so incredibly irritable. I used to have the worst PMS symptoms. I thought I had just horrible PMS symptoms. I would be so irritable. Everything would agitate me. If I dropped something on the floor that I then couldn't pick up, that would enrage me. I would be so enraged if I spilled something, if I made a mess, if I tripped, if I was just so like irritable and angry and full of this bubbling rage that was ready to spill out at any moment. And can you imagine being a mom and then having that? Because anytime your child spills something, you want to flip out because it enrages you, because you are unwell, you are dealing with depression symptoms. I would always feel numb. Like I would watch Sydney play or be outside with my child, and I would not feel joy. I would not feel happiness. I would never laugh. Like I would fake laugh, but I would never truly laugh and feel joy from it. I remember we went to Storyland, which is like a theme park for kids, a little amusement park for kids, and watching my daughter like have so much fun and giggle and all of that. I couldn't feel that joy. I couldn't feel that lighthearted, be in the moment joy. I felt like I was in this movie that was going on around me, but it was like blurry noise, and I couldn't be present. I couldn't see it's so weird and so hard to explain, but I was numb. I couldn't feel joy. And that's when I truly realized, I actually went to the doctors. I wanted blood work because I was convinced that I had low thyroid, because thyroid has all of those symptoms too. You can deal with like depression, fatigue. I was convinced that I had like a very severe case of low thyroid. And so I wanted blood work. My doctor ordered some blood work. I had let her know my symptoms back in May, I believe, when I went to go see her about blood work for the first time. And that was a huge step for me, because I'm not one to go to the doctors. And I know like I need to get more comfortable with that, but I'm not. And so that was the first time I was like, I can't live like this anymore. It's not normal. I had been talking to a friend about it and just kept saying like, this can't be just because I'm a mom or I'm a single mom. This is not normal, and I need some answers. I can't feel like this anymore. I can't feel this tired and irritable and angry and I don't know. I needed blood work because I truly thought something physically was wrong with me. That's how exhausted I was. She ordered some blood work, vitamin D levels. Oh my word, I can't even remember. I'm gonna have to go back and look at that video I did post about you know, white blood cell count, cholesterol, all of the above, right? So a bunch of blood work. And then she also recommended a stress supplement for me, and that actually helped me. It helped me feel a little bit more calm and not as fight or flight constantly, and just like living in a constant state of that. And so that helped me a little bit, like 10%. So she recommended that. We ordered blood work, got the blood work done, got the blood work results, and lo and behold, everything was normal. And I was so upset. You should be so happy and grateful when your blood work comes back normal, right? I just cried. I sobbed and I sobbed because I wanted answers. Why am I feeling like this? My blood work is normal. My vitamins are fine. I was taking vitamin D, which I do every winter. Living in Maine, I have for a long time, and doctors recommend it here anyway for most people, but everything was normal. So I should be so glad and happy about that. It's such a really hard pill to swallow because I have my dream job, my daughter, who is obviously the love of my life. Like, man, I really had myself like convinced that they were gonna find something that makes me feel this exhausted and blah all the time, and I was just so upset because I wanted that like concrete answer. And so anyway, I ended up talking to my doctor. We talked about symptoms and patterns, and like clockwork for me, from about January, maybe even the end of, like maybe in even a little bit of December until June, like May or June, is when I would have those symptoms. I would be so happy when the sun was out and lifted and energized and motivated in myself. I said I've always known I had like winter blues, but I never really thought it could be this bad. I thought it was just, oh, you feel a little bit like blah and you really want the sun, and then summer comes and you're happy. No, like it can be that way, but it can also be super, super extreme like I had it. I did not have sadness. And so I know a lot of people do experience sadness when they have depression or seasonal depression. Some people can feel sadness and that like hopelessness and, God forbid, like self-harm thoughts. I didn't have that at all. I wasn't sad. And in my videos, I kept saying, I'm not sad. I have nothing to be sad about. And I don't wake up feeling sad. I don't want to harm myself. I love my, you know what I mean? Did not realize that you could have depression without sadness. If any of you guys feel this way, you are not alone. I'm happy I'm not depressed. That's why I was like, well, I'm not depressed. I'm not like sad. I'm just like so blah and have no energy. I'm working my dream job. I have my daughter who's the love of my life. I get to work from home. I just had no idea that you could have depression without sadness. And some of you guys had mentioned in a few comments that you thought that I was depressed. Some of you were counselors or therapists and mentioned it to me, and I just kept being in denial about it because I kept thinking you had to be sad and feel hopeless in order to be depressed. Like I just had no idea. After I met with my doctor and we went over the blood work results, I started exercising. So the weather started at least not being freezing cold, and I could get outside and go for runs and walks, and I started walking. I got myself an Apple Watch, which I'm actually not wearing today, but I got myself an Apple Watch and I started walking outside, getting fresh air, because I love being outside. I love fresh air, and exercise is obviously so good for us physically, health-wise, and it's also great for our mood too. And so I was like, oh, maybe I've gained weight. I'm eating lots of junk food. I have that hibernation, like weight gain. So anyway, so I had started exercising and that helped a little bit. It definitely helped me physically feel better. Like I didn't feel as like my clothes felt a little bit better, you know what I mean? That type of feeling better, but the numbness didn't go away. I couldn't play with my child. When she would ask me to play with her, it was like the worst thing on earth. Not because I don't want to play with my child, but because I was numb. I couldn't feel joy. I couldn't I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, that's how that was. So I had been exercising for a couple of months and I still wasn't feeling myself at all. Until one day I remember waking up, and it was the day of our yard sale. We had like a yard sale last July, and I remember waking up and it was like something clicked. I was me again. I felt like I just drank an energy drink. I had all of this energy. I was happy. I didn't feel that weight over my shoulders. I just felt like me. And it was 2 weeks, exactly 2 weeks, 14 days of sunshine. And that's when I realized, holy crap, you really do have seasonal depression. That's when I accepted it. I knew it, and I knew that that was it. I knew that that was my problem because I felt instantaneously after 2 weeks. Since I was so depressed, it took about 2 weeks. Sometimes for some people it can take just a couple of days. But for like really severe cases, it can take a couple of weeks in order to feel better from the lack of sunlight that you've been dealing with. Anyway, so that's when it truly hit me. Holy crap, you really have seasonal affective disorder. And that's when I started to research and talk to my doctor and like figure out, okay, what can you do to prevent seasonal affective disorder? There's no cure. Don't quote me. Again, this is my understanding of it. Please talk to someone because I don't know. My understanding of it is there's no cure, but you can do things to help ease symptoms. That is where the best thing that's ever happened to me. I'm being dramatic because and I could cry over it because it's just such a miracle for me. Please don't feel bad if this doesn't work for you. If you need medication, great, fine. Who the heck cares? If it helps you, it helps you. That's all that matters. If exercise alone helps you, or like just going to be with a friend helps you, great, that's wonderful. Or eating healthy or losing a couple pounds, if that helps you. For me, it's been light therapy, and this light therapy has changed my entire life. And here we are through March, and I feel like myself still. I have not struggled with seasonal depression whatsoever this winter. I've had 2 days, I do know, I've had 2 days where I felt like literally a 5% blahness, and it was because I hadn't done my light therapy for a couple of days that week. So that's where this comes in. This has been my medicine. It's just what works for me and has been working for me up until now. My doctor recommended this as well. I had it actually in my home because I knew I struggled in the winters, but I had it in my home for like 3 years, and I never knew how to truly use it as my medication. And so it never worked for me. So what I do is I plug this in. This is UV free. It's a bright white light. 10,000 lux is like the highest that it goes. It has 3 different light intensities. It has a timer on it. And I do this every single day, and I've been doing it since November. They recommend to do it starting in the fall before any of your symptoms ever start. And that's what I have done. I say almost because yes, I have skipped like maybe 5 days total since November, maybe 5 days total. And so I do it every single day. Your eyes have to be open. You don't have to stare at it or like look at it, but your eyes need to be open. You can do it with it's at your desk while you're doing your work. You can do it like sometimes I will put it in my kitchen while I'm doing dishes. I'll just put it in the window, and then that was fine in the fall. And now I've realized I need to be a little bit more precise with it and have it be closer to my face. So they do recommend like 2 feet away-ish. Again, I'm not a professional. This is my understanding, and this is what works for me. I just feel like I have to keep saying that because I don't want to steer anyone in the wrong direction. If what I'm mentioning doesn't work for you, try a different way. Talk to someone else about it. So I have this about 2 feet away from my face every single day on the highest, brightest setting for 30 minutes every single day. And it has, no joke, changed my life. I have not felt depressed. I've had energy every single day. I've been happy. I've been able to be present with my daughter. I'm not irritable. I have no PMS. I mean, I'm a normal human being who deals with we all deal with hormonal things, but I don't have that irritableness, that insane PMS rage. It's just been such a miracle for me. I do continue to exercise through the winter a little bit. Like, I'm not exercising daily or 4 days a week or anything. I want to be there, and I should be there for health reasons, but it's been the light that has changed my life. And so I'm going to continue to use my light until through May. I think I'll stop in June. Well, it depends. Like if we have lots of rain and cloudiness in June, then, I'll continue using it. So seasonal depression is caused for me by lack of sunlight, and some people, like in rare occasions, I know can have seasonal depression in the summertime if you live where it's, super hot and you're stuck inside for all summer or whatever. So it's definitely different for everyone. People's symptoms can be all different. It can be different times of year. It can be different lengths and different severities. For me, it's a solid 6 months. Okay, I'm filming this part a little after I finished filming because there were a couple of points that I wanted to make sure that I made. I specifically remember someone saying, it was like in the middle of June, last June, someone said, it's nice out now and you're still not happy. So it can't be seasonal affective disorder. Depression, seasonal affective disorder, thyroid, diabetes, no one disease has the same symptoms across everyone. It can look different on everyone. And so that's also something that I wanted to myth bust. And so the fact that this light therapy has truly helped me be myself has been the biggest miracle, the biggest blessing. And I will talk about it until I'm blue in the face because it's just been so amazing. I did want to talk about this today because it was really hard for me last year. I remember I talked about it kind of often, like I would glaze over it a little bit on Instagram stories or on here, and then I had someone say, okay, enough, it's a downer, and move on from talking about that because it's a downer. And that's why I want to talk about it today, because can you imagine, you think it's a downer because you had to hear about it for 30 seconds, 3 days a week. But can you imagine living with it and feeling like I can't tell anyone about this because I don't want to be a downer, because I don't want to make anyone else feel as bad as I'm feeling, because I know how it feels to feel down. So I can't tell everyone, or I'm harping on it. I'm talking about it too much. And so I'm going to keep this all inside. I'm going to keep this all to myself. God forbid that person have sadness and hopelessness, because the worst thing you can do is to keep it in and not talk about it, to not seek help or have support from loved ones and family members. And so I don't want anyone to feel like they can't talk about it anymore, because you're going to make someone else depressed. And my advice to you, if you've never struggled with depression, if you have a loved one, if you have a friend, if you hear someone mention something, the worst thing you can ever do is to tell them to stop talking about it because it's making you sad. If you're not their friend, move on. Okay, so I don't even know if I've made all of my points or not that I wanted to make. I could blub about this for so long because it's just truly been a huge part of my life for years. And it just got so bad last year. And now it's the opposite. It's so good to feel good. And I want to celebrate that. I want to talk about it. And I've been through the thick of the struggles, and now I'm on the other side where I'm feeling so good, and I want to celebrate it. And I also want to give solutions to those who might need solutions. I want to give hope to others, and I want to just open my mouth and share about it and how this is real. And we need to talk about it because it's legit, especially coming through a pandemic and on top of all of life's, it's just ridiculous. If there's a stigma, that's so ridiculous. There should not be a stigma, at all. And if anyone in your life tells you otherwise, no. All right, you guys, so I'm gonna end the video here. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk. Thank you for listening to me share with you guys what seasonal depression was really like for me. And I am hopeful that I will get through the rest of the season feeling really good. I do my light therapy every single day, And there's been like a couple of days that I haven't done it, and then all of a sudden I'll feel like a tiny bit blah, and I'm like, ugh, it scares the crap out of me. So I'm going to do everything in my power to continue to do my light therapy. And light therapy is not meant for everyone, so obviously check with a professional before you do so. Do your research on what light, and no, it does not have any UV rays, so it's not like harmful for your skin or eyes or anything like that. So yeah. All right, you guys, I will talk to you in the next one. Bye.